Amazing job on this film, Audra. This film is brilliant. I grew up, my father raised me on Aretha Franklin, so this is an amazing film for me. But Miss Franklin had such a strong connection to her mother, Barbara, and this almost shapes who Aretha becomes in the film. Can you talk to me about the research you did for the role and the relationship that the two had?
There's not a lot that is known about Barbara Franklin. There are still very few people, if any, alive now that, well, yes, of course, there are some that knew her. There's very few people that are alive now that knew her. So that being said, there were some things we were able to, research. We were able to know about her musical ability, know about, the pain from the separation from her children, and CL being the one to have custody of them. And I know Barbara still very much wanted to be a part of their lives, so that was very painful for her. Mahalia Jackson said of Barbara Franklin that hers was one of the greatest gospel voices in the country. Mahalia Jackson, said that about Barbara Franklin. So this was a very brilliant, talented, beautiful woman in her own right. And she just tried to impart as much of that wisdom and a sense of safety and love and connection to God and connection to, oneself and one's sense of self as much as she possibly could in the short amount of time. And I think she was very cognizant of the fact that she had a short amount of time with her children just because of the nature of the living situation,
Sure.
being separated from her children. I don't think ultimately she would have realized that it meant actually how much time she would have on earth with her children. So Aretha was very close to her mother, very bonded to her, was devastated by her death. But obviously her mother lived on, and her legacy lived on in Aretha. I mean, even down to the fact that it's the same face. If you look at pictures of Barbara Franklin, that is Aretha's face.
Amazing. Now, during the process of the film, was there anything you discovered about Miss Franklin that you hadn't known before?
Nothing that I didn't know before. But there was something about seeing Aretha come alive again in Jennifer.
Absolutely.
That was very moving. And what I noticed more than anything, as we were filming with Jennifer, there was times that I was looking at Jennifer in the room with her, and I was like, she looks like Aretha. What's happening? I mean, she was literally starting to full on embody her. And I remember saying that to Liesl at one point, like, why does she looks exactly like her? What's happening? There's something going on. She's literally starting to transform. And Jennifer and Aretha had a lot in common.
Right. I mean, that's exactly what I was just about to ask you, was that Jennifer Hudson completely transforms to Aretha. I almost forgot at times I was watching Jennifer Hudson. And I was just about to ask you, was there a moment that you just kind of were like, wow, I mean, you just talked about it a little bit, where she completely transforms right in front of your eyes?
Absolutely right in front of your eyes. And even to the point where the night that we were filming the scene that Jennifer and I have in the film, when Jennifer and I were just sitting in the back chatting a little bit before we started, and I looked over at her and I was like, oh, I mean, I'm seeing it even right now, and we're not even filming right now. You start to understand why Aretha saw herself in Jennifer and said, that's the one to
Right.
me.
Well, look, this is
the one.
I agree. This is an incredible film. I can't wait for everyone to see it. I was invested from all 2.5 hours of this movie. It's such an amazing journey. So thank you so much for your time. Brilliant job. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you. Take care.